You think you're better than me, don't you? She snapped. Just because you worked hard and got a fancy job doesn't mean you're superior. You'll always be the poor girl trying to climb the ladder while I was born at the top. Welcome to The Hidden Voice, a Sierra Leone Folktales channel. Mary, a young and beautiful girl, grew up in a small, cramped apartment on the outskirts of the city. Her parents, both farm workers, had sacrificed everything to send her to college. They believed education was the key to breaking the cycle of poverty, and Mary was determined to prove them right. From a young age, she had been acutely aware of her family's struggles, the constant worry about bills, the worn-out furniture, the second-hand clothes. She vowed to one day lift her family out of their hardships and give them the life they deserved. Mary's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Karoma, had spent their entire lives working tirelessly to provide for their family. They were farm workers, working long hours for meager wages. Their lives were a constant cycle of work, bills, and worry. Despite their hardships, they never complained. They believed in the power of education and dreamed of a better future for their daughter. Mary was their hope, their beacon of light in an otherwise bleak existence. From a young age, Mary understood the weight of her parents' sacrifices. She saw how they scrimped and saved to send her to a decent school, how they went without so she could have the opportunities they never did. Their love and dedication fueled her determination to succeed. She vowed to one day repay them, to give them the life they deserved. Mary studied very hard and was accepted into the top best university in the country with full tuition scholarships. When Mary arrived at the University of Sierra Leone, she was both excited and overwhelmed. The campus was a world away from her humble beginnings. The students here came from affluent families, dressed in the latest fashion, and carried themselves with an air of confidence that Mary could only dream of. She felt out of place, but she refused to let it show. She was here for a purpose, and nothing would distract her from her goals. Study and make her parents proud. Mary's intelligence and work ethic quickly set her apart. She aced her classes, participated in every extracurricular activity that would bolster her resume, and networked tirelessly. She knew that success wasn't just about grades, it was about connections, opportunities, and making the right impression. She dreamed of landing a high-paying job at a prestigious law firm, one that would not only secure her family's future, but also elevate her social status. But Mary had another, more personal goal. She wanted to attract a wealthy suitor, not out of greed or vanity, but out of a deep-seated belief that marrying into wealth would be the ultimate validation of her worth. She had seen how society treated the rich, how doors opened for them, how people admired them. She wanted that for herself and her family. She wanted to prove that she was more than just a poor girl from the wrong side of town. Mary, after a history lesson break, was approached by Jestina, who by her looks came from a wealthy family. She requested to be friends with Mary. From her looks, she quickly agreed with no hesitation. They became more close after they were assigned as roommates during their freshman year, and at first, they couldn't have been more different. Jestina was carefree and impulsive, while Mary was disciplined and focused. But over time, they found common ground. Jestina admired Mary's intelligence and determination, while Mary was drawn to Jestina's confidence and charm. Jestina's wealth was both a source of fascination and frustration for Mary. Jestina, on the other hand, was the epitome of privilege. Born into a wealthy family, she had never known what it meant to want for anything. Her wardrobe was filled with designer labels. Her car was the envy of the campus, and her weekends were spent at exclusive parties. But academically, Jestina struggled. She barely scraped by in her classes, relying on tutors and late-night cram sessions to pass. Her parents' donations to the university ensured she stayed enrolled, but her lack of effort and focus was evident. Despite their differences, Mary and Jestina were inseparable. Mary admired Jestina's carefree spirit and her ability to navigate the social scene with ease, while Jestina envied Mary's intelligence and drive. They balanced each other out. Mary helped Jestina with her studies, and Jestina introduced Mary to a world of luxury and connections she had never known. But as the years went by, cracks began to form in their friendship. Mary's hard work paid off. She graduated at the top of her class, landed a prestigious internship, and was offered a full-time job at a leading law firm before she even walked the stage. Her future was bright, and she was determined to rise above her circumstances. Jestina, however, stumbled through her final year. Her parents' influence could only take her so far, and without Mary's constant help, she barely managed to graduate. She returned home to a life of comfort, but with no real direction or purpose. Her parents expected her to take over the family business, but Jestina had no interest in it. She felt lost, overshadowed by Mary's success. At Mary's graduation ceremony, her parents stood tall, their hearts swelling with pride. They watched as their daughter walked across the stage, her diploma in hand, and knew that their sacrifices had been worth it. For the first time in their lives, they felt a sense of validation, a recognition of their worth. Mary's success also brought tangible changes to their lives. With her new job, she was able to provide financial support to her family. She helped them move into a better home, bought them new clothes, and gave them the kind of life they had always dreamed of. But more than the material comforts, it was the sense of pride and accomplishment that meant the most to them. When Mary reached out to celebrate her new job, Jestina's resentment boiled over. "You think you're better than me, don't you?" she snapped. "Just because you worked hard and got a fancy job doesn't mean you're superior. You'll always be the poor girl trying to climb the ladder while I was born at the top." Mary was heartbroken. She had never seen this side of Jestina before. "I don't think I'm better than you," she said softly. "I just wanted to make something of myself. I thought you'd be happy for me." But Jestina couldn't see past her own insecurities. The friendship that had once been a source of strength for both of them was now fractured beyond repair. One evening, as Mary celebrated her new job with friends, Jestina sat alone in her lavish apartment, scrolling through social media. She saw photos of Mary smiling, surrounded by people who admired her, and a pang of jealousy struck her. Why did Mary have everything, intelligence, ambition, and now success, while she, Jestina, had nothing but her family's money? The more she thought about it, the more resentful she became towards Mary. Jestina began to more distance herself from Mary, ignoring her calls and messages. When Mary finally confronted her, Jestina couldn't hold back her feelings. "You think you're better than me, don't you?" she snapped. "Just because you worked hard and got a fancy job doesn't mean you're superior. You'll always be the poor girl trying to climb the ladder, while I was born at the top. And for your attention, I just have a brown new car, customized in my name." Mary replied, "I thought you'd be happy for me." Why the sudden resentment? But Jestina couldn't see past her own insecurities. The friendship that had once been a source of strength for both of them was now fractured beyond repair. Mary moved on, focusing on her career and building a life she was proud of. Jestina, meanwhile, remained trapped in a cycle of envy and self-doubt, unable to find her own path. In the aftermath of their falling out, Mary reflected on her journey. She had achieved so much, but at what cost? She had worked tirelessly to make her family proud, to prove her worth, and to attract the kind of life she had always dreamed of. But in the process, she had lost a friend. Mary realized that her desire for status had blinded her to the true value of relationships. She had been so focused on her goals that she had neglected to appreciate the people who had supported her along the way. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more amazing Sierra Leonean folktales, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep these stories alive and brings our rich culture to the world. Until next time, stay inspired and keep the stories flowing.